Right.
To focus mostly on that psalm that we heard read earlier. At first hearing, in some ways you might think that song seems a little Pollyannish, like a little looking at things through rose-colored glasses. If you just do this, oh, it's gonna be fine. No worries, right? It also might seem a little passive. Just be still. So much of life is constantly trying to balance. Where do we put our energy? Think back for when you were a child, or you are a child. Think back, maybe very recently. To when you've been on seesaw. Take a minute. Think in your brain. I can just like yesterday picture the one that was at my elementary school. Put yourself on that seesaw. We know that when you have two people that are about the same size and about the same weight and about the same with their same intention, right? That the balanced seesaw stays level or purposefully goes up and down. Up and down. However, when you're with someone who is not of your same stature, it's not the same. As someone who was always smaller, I spent a lot of time up. And the thing is, at first you think, oh, of course, that's where you want to be, right? You want to be up there. That's where the fun is. Unless you're afraid of heights. But even if you love it up there, too much of anything, it's old. Too much of only looking for things for the positive, well, you're eventually going to fall off. Even if it seems being up in the clouds, the best place to be, you might always get back if you're brain thinking, oh my gosh, when is the other person going to let me drop? When is the proverbial other shoe going to drop? And you truly enjoy it. But at the same time, if you're the person on the bottom, if you're the one down in the dirt, seeming to have all the control, the same. You don't ever have that release. We don't want to be on either side. We find ourselves pleading to the other side. Let me down. I want to go up. Seems all of life is this way, constantly trying to figure it out. No matter when in history, there are times that we feel more on one side or the other. And our personal lives, and definitely in parenting, we think of our children today. But I don't think this passage is just telling us about go and try and live up in the clouds. And I don't think it's a psalm about cause and effect. If you simply do this, then this will happen. If you simply do good, all will be fine. It's not that either. I mean, we all know there are plenty of good people that bad things happen to. And there are plenty of people who don't always make the best choices in their life, and they seem to be living it up to it. So what is it saying? Well, I do believe it is saying to trust in God. Trust in a God and not be swayed by things that are temporary or things that are not of love and light. To trust when life is hard, that there are sparks of love and light that will be with us through the hard times. So how do we build this trust? How do we learn to trust? I've learned much from the power of the work that we have done of simply accompanying. For those who don't know, Anton and I have lived for most of our marriage, accompanying those on the margins. And most of the time, that trust has been built just by being with people, being present. We gain trust with others when we walk, when we listen to them without agendas or judgment. And here's the thing. That's exactly what Jesus did. Jesus listened deeply, walked with those on the margins. They trusted Jesus. The tax collectors, the traitors, those that others did not want to be with, Jesus chose to be with, to listen, and to be present. But again, how can we trust? Life is complex, and many of us have many mixed feelings of people we cannot trust. And we trust. Other part of my life, I'm a school counselor, and I have this kindergartner, these two kindergartners that a couple of weeks ago I get this message on my phone, and I had not had my phone with me. I've been in another meeting, and when I finally come back to it, there's this plea from this kindergarten teacher who says, "Can you please come and help us? Can you please come and help us?" Child A is having an absolute meltdown. Will not go outside to recess. That's odd. Why won't he go out to recess? Why? Because the other child, child B, has told him that the ground is lava. And this child is not screaming in the hallway. And they can't leave me by himself. And so by the time I get it and I'm like, oh, I'm okay, I'm on my way, I'm getting down there, and I get a text back, they're like, we got it. We couldn't convince the child that the ground's not lava. The child B, who had told him that, finally convinced him by telling him, it's okay, it's really not, it's just dirt. And then he finally trusted to go out. In real life, the world, not God, will tell you the ground is lava. The world, however, will also not make it right. The world will not tell you, oh, I was just kidding. However, God will be there. No matter if the ground truly is lava, which sometimes it is, or pretend lava, because let's be honest, even if it's a perception of lava, the fear many times is the same. Or if it's just really dirt. God will accompany us and listen. In spending time with God, we will then know more of God's true character, not the world's interpretation. That God is a God of infinite love, unconditional love. And when we begin to trust, we can then, as the psalm says, delight in the Lord. Instead of always having to focus on wrongdoing of others, we can find joy in faith. Because there is that with God in everything. I am not saying at all that we should not hold people accountable or challenge wrongs. Yes, and also true that if all we do is look at their negatives, where is their hope for change? Miracles. A new way. We went Friday night to see the documentary of John Lewis. They were doing a special screening in honor of his birthday. And in seeing this amazing man, celebrating his life, I was struck by how John Lewis knew the balance of joy, of being still when we needed to be still, but absolutely challenging and being a man of action. The film talked about him dancing with joy in his congressional office, playing with chickens. Talked about how he had wanted to be a preacher and how he would practice with the chickens when he was growing up. We know in 2019 he has said, and the words keep coming and coming. Do not get lost in the sea of despair. Do not become bitter or hostile. Be hopeful. Be optimistic. Never ever be afraid to make some noise, get in good trouble. Necessary trouble. You see, John Lewis understood dialectical ideas of Hayward thinking. Dialectical ideas is that two opposite ideas can be true at the exact same time, and when you consider them together can create a new way of viewing the situation. Joy and fear. Hope and worry. Good and true. And we also know he said, if not us, then who? If not now, then when? I do believe that when we commit ourselves to take that first step of trusting God and believing that love will shine through the darkness, we will be filled with what is needed to both have joy in being still and also trusting that God will help us take the next faithful, courageous action steps. J. Clinton McCann says this is considered a wisdom song. It says that the function of the promises is to locate God with those who do good, who live simply, who practice generosity, who both proclaim and embody God's will for justice. Ellen Davis says the tone of this psalm is encouragement for the dispirited, however, not contentment for the status quo. Our waiting is not passive, it's active. We wait in expectant hope. This is a call to active resistance. Sloane Kaufman also says, hope criticizes what is. Hopelessness rationalizes. Hope resists. Hopelessness. The psalm invites us to not place our hope and trust in this world, but instead to place it in a God's upside down, God's promise of a world where the meek will inherit the earth. A world for our children, so that we know the true love of them.